Hello, in this video, I am going to teach you the secret to naming your quiz, and we'll even dive a lot deeper into framing your quiz, that is your message around your quiz, so that you maximize engagement and attract more ideal audience members. Now, if we are meeting for the very first time, my name is Anne-Marie Rose, and I'm a brand strategist, so I help coaches, consultants, course creators, and experts just like you to grow your brand more effectively online and do more of the work that lights you up. One way I absolutely love doing that is helping my clients create quizzes, and that's exactly what we're doing in this series. If you are just joining for the first time, this is the first of these videos that you have seen. This is part of a series. It is a series all about creating a quiz for your business. It's the Quizness series, and if you missed 1 through 3, that was all about the strategy, your specific quiz creation strategy. If you missed 4 through 6, that was all about diving into the actually creating your quiz. And now part 7 and 8 this week are more focused on promoting and really getting people to engage with your quiz. So that's exactly what we're going to be covering. If you do want to be, I highly encourage watching all the videos in this series because they're really going to help you create the most effective quiz and promote it in a really engaging way. If you want to follow along with each of the steps we've already covered and be able to implement as you go, I encourage you to go to annemarierose.com/quiz guide to download the free Quizness series workbook. All right, so let's dive in to naming your quiz. Now, naming your quiz is honestly a lot less important than a lot of people think. So I'm sure you've taken quizzes online already. That's probably part of what piqued your interest in wanting to create your own quiz for your brand. And I'm sure if you think back to some of the quizzes that you've taken, you probably don't remember what they were called necessarily. And that being said, I don't want you to stress too much about what it is you're going to call your quiz. I've even taken plenty of quizzes that I don't externally, as an audience member, I didn't know what it was called before I hit start this quiz, right? I just wanted to know more of what the results were going to give me once I started taking the quiz. What was the point of me taking the quiz? I didn't necessarily care so much about what it was called. This is where quizzes differ quite a bit from other styles of lead magnets, because if you're going to create, say, an ebook, maybe you want to call it a free guide or a white paper or a cheat sheet. There's all different types of names you can call them, and sometimes the name has a really significant impact on the amount of people who will actually download that freebie. With quizzes, it's a little bit different because you want to be focused more on the results and how it is you're talking about the results people are going to get. But just to give you kind of the quick and dirty, some names to consider or some ways to label your quiz might be a quiz, an assessment, a tool, even just calling it a resource. I personally call my quiz the one that's currently promoting. It's called the Brand Message Breakthrough Quiz. You can put a fun name in front of yours. You could just call it the Productivity Quiz or the Life Purpose Quiz or whatever it is. That you could call it whatever you want, but ultimately you want to be framing the results, and the way that you can do that, you can even totally forget about putting a name on your quiz, honestly, if you do this well, if you frame the results well. Now, here are some ideas for framing the quiz. You could say, find out, blah, blah, blah. So for me, find out the most effective way to communicate your brand message online. There you go. Start this free quiz to find out, or whatever. So you kind of can get away from having to put that creative, fun, the brand message breakthrough type of a label on your quiz if you just frame it really well, if that makes sense. And then another option would be to discover, blah, blah, blah. Discover the most effective way to communicate your brand message online, for example. And then get clear on the most effective way to communicate your brand message online. There's just I don't even really need to I just can say, start the quiz below to find out, or whatever. And it gets me away from really having to put a really creative label on the quiz, for example. So you can kind of choose if you want to put a creative name on your quiz and that's something you feel inspired to come up with, then go for it. You might want to call it an assessment. You may just want to call it so I could have called mine the Brand Message Breakthrough Tool, or tool might be better if you are really giving someone a super specific prescription as the quiz results. And then assessment works well if you're kind of pointing someone in a specific direction, like if you're trying to help them to determine which offer is best, or if they're ready, if it's a readiness style quiz. then assessment tends to work pretty well. So just thinking about what's going to resonate with your audience, and you can ask them, which one would you feel most inspired to take, a productivity quiz or a productivity assessment, and see what they say. Now, framing, this is really where the magic happens. This is how you're talking about your quiz, how you are communicating the importance of your quiz to people, the solution that your quiz is going to offer to people. And therefore, this is what's going to inspire people to take the quiz and to complete the quiz all the way through. So let me just give you a definition of framing if you haven't really heard this term before, or maybe you've heard it and it's been a little, you're not exactly sure what it means. According to Cutting Edge PR, framing is the technique of focusing the attention of people within a broader context. So it's not enough for me just to go say, hey, take my quiz, or to take my brand quiz. I could call it a brand quiz, but I need to then tell people what it is, why they should go take the quiz. I should tell them why their attention should shift to that particular quiz, and it's framing that does that. So I'm going to show you a specific method to walk through to frame your quiz well in just a second. But I do want to mention that the impact that framing has is really, it's what will create interest and engagement around your quiz. So if you forget to frame, it's highly likely people will forget about whatever it is you're offering. It's not enough to just say, take my quiz, or you can think about this in any other context. It's not enough to just say, sign up for my coaching program. You have to frame why the coaching program is so valuable. It's not enough to just say, download my free ebook. You have to tell them why that free ebook is so valuable. And the same goes for your quiz. So we're going to talk about now exactly how to frame your quiz. And there's ways that you can incorporate this into your quiz name, into any ads or social media posts you may create around the quiz. And I'll dive into all of that specifically later. But right now, the 4 steps that you want to walk through to frame your quiz. And this is just sort of an exercise to get things going. I'll walk you through this in a second. But the first thing you want to do to frame is pinpoint the pain. What's your audience's struggle, or what are they desiring? And of course, you want to be thinking about the results that your quiz is actually going to offer. So what's the pain point that's related to the results you're going to offer? Now you want to start to tease a possible solution. So a solution that relates, again, to those results that you're going to give people, but it may not be, the results that you're going to give them may not be the entire solution, right? So how would life look with that if people didn't have that struggle anymore, or if they did have whatever it is that they're desiring? And then how can you position your results of your quiz as the solution, or as being able to move them closer to that solution, to that problem solved type of a position? So how can you position your results as being able to rid them of that struggle or help them to achieve that desire? And then motivate them to take action. So why should people take action and start your quiz sooner rather than later? Giving a sense of urgency and really inspiring them to hit start now button. So let me give you an example. And this is an example of a Facebook ad that I'm actually currently running to my brand message breakthrough quiz. And it's not the full thing. It's almost the entire thing, but I just chopped out the most important parts to show you here. And you can actually, if you go to brandmessagebreakthrough.com, you could go to brandmessagebreakthrough.com or brandmessagequiz.com and actually see how this translates to the start page as well. But the ad really gives you a full picture of of how this framing shows up, right? And helps us to inspire people to take action. So pinpointing the pain. Knowing what my audience struggles with and desires. Well, they feel like they have to do everything. They're feeling a bit overwhelmed and like they're not getting enough traction with the things they are doing in their business. And so I started out by saying, as creative entrepreneurs and experts, we're constantly told we should create more, post more, engage more. That is if we're serious about growing our business online, right? So that really, I know that resonates for my ideal audience members. And then teasing the solution. I say, so the problem is when you don't have a clear, compelling brand message that aligns with your business goals, your efforts to create, posts, and engage become busy work rather than strategic action steps to move your brand and business forward in the right direction. On the other hand, when you do have a clear, compelling message, you can make a bigger impact with less effort, which totally eliminates the pressure to keep up with all the things. So I've told them, here's what it could look like. You'd make a bigger impact, less effort, and I've shown them that it will start to eliminate the pressure to do all those things. So I've teased the ultimate solution. Now I'm about to position the results as being something that's going to help them move closer to that solution, the results of the quiz. So I said, now I know the idea of clarifying your brand message might seem daunting, especially if you're multi-passionate or you have a multifaceted business. Not to worry though, I got you. I created the brand message breakthrough quiz to help you clarify your message in a few minutes or less. So I've now said, we got to clarify your message. So I've already told them that if they have a clear, compelling message, they're going to be able to do less. They're going to be able to focus on less, and it's going to eliminate that pressure. So what are we going to do? We're going to start to clarify their message. Now, take the quiz, and it's going to help you do that in just a few minutes or less. Motivating them to take action, and this is why you'll see why I cut off part of the image, because I said in the next 10 minutes or less, clarify your brand message. So part of that motivation is just in letting them know it's only going to take a few minutes. And actually, I think the average completion rate is less than 5. So I could change that and it might be even more compelling. So and then I say, ready to clarify your brand message and move your business forward in the right direction, take the quiz now. So moving your business forward in the right direction is also some amount of motivation, right? So there's a really clear-cut example of framing this quiz and really covering all these different points, each step in the framing process. Now it's your turn. Start to brainstorm. Just kind of run through this list. I won't read it all out loud again to you because you already heard me do it, but put me on pause and really start to write down and really turn this into a brainstorm, because there may be more than one way to frame your quiz, and it's awesome if you have some different options to test. I personally did this with tested out 3 different pain points, 3 different solutions, and then kind of positioned my quiz as being able to move people closer to that solution. Another pain point, for example, was feeling like everyone does what they do or what you do. So, you're my audience. So another pain point that I tested out speaking to was the idea that you kind of blend in online. It's difficult to stand out and engage your ideal audience, and shared how this quiz is going to help you to really start to stand out and communicate more effectively online. Tested out that pain and solution combo, and it ended up that the eliminating overwhelm frame was more effective for my particular audience. They were just more engaged with that particular frame. So run through this, put me on pause, run through this, brainstorm, and then test it out. Do a couple organic social media posts to test out the different ways of framing your quiz. And you can, like that ad copy that I just shared, I tested that as an organic post beforehand. I believe I did. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that I tested that as an organic social media post first to see, and along with the other variations, to see what people resonated with. And that ended up saving quite a bit of my ad budget in the beginning. So test it out, start to see what people resonate with, or you don't even need to be pointing people towards your quiz. You can test this framing out before your quiz is even finished. You could just say, clarifying your brand message is, like I could have said, the key is clarifying your brand message. Here's one tip to help you start clarifying your brand message today. So you don't even, rather than saying, here's my quiz, it's going to help you clarify your brand message. So you could start testing it out with an organic social media post before you ever even have the quiz done. Another great way to test it out is sending emails, testing subject lines, and also landing pages. So once your quiz is live, you may decide to, A/B test a couple different landing pages as a way to see, which framing really resonates with people. So if you communicate all the pain point, you tease the solution, and then you position the results of the quiz as the solution on a landing page, you test frame A and frame B, and then see which one gets more people to click through and actually take the quiz. That can help you to determine which frame is more effective for your audience as well. Now your steps. I just want you to share one problem solution frame. So for me, that problem solution frame, and I'll share my example below as well, is overwhelm, and then my results offer clarity around your message so that you don't feel pressure to do all the things. That's my problem solution frame that ended up really being effective and engaging for my ideal audience members. So I'd love for you to share your problem solution frame below, just one or multiple if you feel compelled, And then be sure to like this video if it was helpful to you and hit subscribe so that you don't miss the upcoming step 8, which will be live on the 7th. So that's in 2 days from now. If you're catching the replay, it's probably already there for you. Be sure to catch up on all the other videos in this series. And if you do want one-on-one support creating a quiz, I offer one-on-one quiz creation sessions, which you can learn more about and book an intro consult to find out if it's right for you by going to annemarierose.com/BBC quiz. And I hope to see you during step 8. And let me know if you have any questions at all. See you soon.